werewolves and metamorphosers. These two kind of go in hand to hand because of one look. And that is, the legends of the metamorphosers said that people could change from human to animal and back. And werebeasts, though, of any kind, being werewolf, werepanther, werecheetah, anything that forces some human to change into another beast, another form, is involuntary. Where on the other hand, it is voluntary. Now, looking at it like that, you could say that perhaps the wares were the fallout of the actual metamorphosers. Say, just for fantasy sake, right now, because we have absolutely no proof other than a few legends and myths, that we step into a world where there was a race in our ancient past. And maybe some have survived, some bloodlines have survived into today. But back then was warring times. War was all around. And they would use their beast forms in these battles. They would bite, they would claw, they would make the fallout. These ones that would survive. They would change unwillingly, but they would maybe be servant to their creators. Much like you might think a vampire master would be to their creation. May have been unwarranted, involuntary, but it happened. And that created the werebeasts. Something like that. Over time, the changers, changeling, change race, whatever you want to call them, that metamorphosed into other animals, slowly became part of civilization, maybe even bred out that special quality in them. Back when DNA testing didn't exist. Or, to our knowledge, it didn't exist. And if it did, maybe it was acceptable. But what would be able to make these individuals exist now? Let's take a wild look on science fact. As it stands, just saying the comment that they change is unfounded in any way. It can't be proven, let alone it can't be disproven. It falls in that gray area. But you look at animals on our planet, and you see that there are some animals that can change different parts of themselves, mainly gender, if there is too many of them. Now, admittedly, this is a small change. Food can change size, but that is totally different too. They're still staying the same shape. So to say that these creatures, or even the beasts that come, the werebeasts, would be made of the same genetics that we are, is saying that a rock is made of the same composition as a tree. It doesn't match. Now you look at the werewolves. The werewolves always have had one part of their legend that stands out, just like most of the other werebeasts, and that is that if you survive, you will turn into one. Now, that if you will survive does not necessarily mean a full-out attack. It could also be referring to a metamorphosis that happens. Because many of these times that they have mentioned it, they always say the next full moon. Well, next full moon was a common measurement back during ancient times, as well as all the way up into even sometimes are used in modern days. If you're out in the woods surviving for more than 1 month at a time, that is how you would measure the time. But let's say it took about 30 days to undergo the metamorphosis. What would need to be changed? Bone structure would need to be changed. The whole makeup of us would have to be changed on a cellular level to make us more pliable, to make us more changeable. And then, would it even still be possible to change completely? Well, logic would say no, by what we know now. But you look at what we know now, and then look at what we knew 100 years ago, or even 200 years ago. Can't go back much further, because when you start going back, you start adding on the historical distortion, which is on a different subject. But you look at it, and it could be possible on a whole different scale that we don't know about yet or have forgotten about. It is legitimately possible that there could at least have been a race, maybe not even from this world, that lived here on this planet that could change, and that if from them directly somebody got scratched or bitten, most likely in a battle, they would suffer a metabolical change and then become one as well. It's possible, and it's not possible. It's in that gray area. You decide. Tell me what you think. Next time on Willis Talk.